I feel like there's this conception in the gaming community that game delays are just flat out a bad thing. And I feel like that's silly. I think most people would agree that they'd rather have quality over quantity, right? But when a gamer gets mad that a game gets delayed, it's like, oh, what the hell? I just wanted to play this game at this time. Like, I get it. Like, inherently, we just want to play these games, so people just get impatient. But to me, whenever I see a game delay, that means it's just going to be that much of a better game. If the game developers themselves have to come out and say, hey, we want some extra time to work on this game because it's taking longer than we expected, then that means that they have a lot of new, fresh ideas that they're just keep putting into the game and that they're really fine-tuning the game for it to be a truly great experience. If you're a Persona fan like me, then you'll remember, hey, Persona 5 was originally supposed to come out in 2015, but then it turns out that it got delayed to come out at 2016 in Japan and 2017 worldwide. I will say though, what a weird trailer this was. Like, it made it seem like it was gonna be like a much more mature game. Like, oh, hey, maybe we're gonna be playing as adults. Maybe we're gonna be like in prison or something. It really wasn't that deep. It's still high school scenario and everything. Well, even in the second trailer, we could see, okay, they're revealing a little bit more about the game, but it's still coming out 2015. Let's freaking go, right? But in reality, this isn't quite true. They ended up delaying the game, and it ended up coming out September 15th, 2016. Literally late into 2016, not even early 2016, and then April 2017 worldwide. That's almost a full 10 years after Persona 4's original release date. But is this a problem though? No! Persona 5 was literally one of the biggest games for the series. Persona 4 used to be the biggest Persona game. It was the most popular, even though the fan base was still typically pretty niche. Persona 5 put Persona as a series into the mainstream. And if it wasn't for this delay, who knows, maybe the game wouldn't have been good enough for it to get mainstream. It became a great modernization of the Persona formula, and probably in part due to this pretty massive delay. Here's another one for you though. The sequel to The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Way back in 2019, this was announced.
2019 was 6 years ago, what the hell?
We're all excited for this, right? Breath of the Wild was a huge game. And looking at the dates, yeah, it seems like a sequel using the same engine as Breath of the Wild at this point. Makes sense. Breath of the Wild came out 2017. Let's get that sequel going. Looks like it's going to be a darker game, maybe more akin to Majora's Mask, we were all thinking. Sounds really, really exciting. All we got here was that it was in development, but you know what? We'll take it, right? As a good first look, we're all hyped. And then silence for 2 whole ass years. Eventually, we finally get an E3 trailer in 2021 about the sequel to the Breath of the Wild. We had to see a new trailer, all these new gameplay aspects of the game. Looks great. We're all super hyped for it. And then, do we get a release date? Oh my god, we do. 2022. And this is huge, right? Because at this point, it's 2021. It's only 1 year away. But then we fast forward to September 13th, 2022, and then we see, hey, you know what? It's getting a little bit close. I'm assuming we're trying to get that Christmas release on 2022, but I see you. All right, we've had the first official trailer. We're assuming, oh, hey, it's probably gonna be like a December release. Let's get excited. All right, I see you. More gameplay. All right, where's that release date at? Okay, we got the new title drop, Tears of the Kingdom. All right, I'm kind of with it. Kind of sounds nice. Hold on. And then this dropped. I cannot tell you how many people were upset about this. But me, I was Persona 5'd out. I knew that the delay was a good thing. We were getting this delay because the game was getting worked on more. It's getting fine-tuned. It's going to be a much better experience. But I think the idea is that most people were upset because it was a sequel and it was using the exact same engine as Breath of the Wild, quite obviously. Either way, the game finally came out and it was a fantastic experience. Very, very worthy of being a sequel to Breath of the Wild. Fantastic game. Many people call it a 10 out of 10. And again, that's because of the delay. We don't want these games to come out haphazardly, right? We don't want a buggy game. We don't want a lackluster game. The more time and effort that the developers put into these games, the better quality of a product that we're going to get as gamers. Now, to be fair, these are huge gaming companies, right? This is Nintendo and Atlas, right? Like, they're not going to give us bad qualities. It would be super silly for a huge gaming titan like these to give us a really buggy or poor performing game that sells a ton and keeps coming out with really short deadlines, not giving the developers enough time to work on it. Yeah, we're talking about Pokemon. I would actually say Pokemon has the complete opposite issues that Persona 5 and Tears of the Kingdom went through. Those games got negative looks because they got delayed, whereas Pokemon, on the other hand, gets negative looks because they didn't get delayed. This can be seen all the way back into Sword and Shield, but it definitely became much more apparent after Sword and Shield. You know, there was the whole National Dex cut, which, you know, that's a series alone thing. Take that as you will. right? The main issue with this that I saw was that the game developers were trying to pass it off as, oh, hey, we didn't include the national dex because we wanted to do more animations, right, for the Pokemon. We're like, oh, that's sick, right? Let's see these awesome new animations. And then they give us like the Score Bunny like double kick where he's like not even moving. Like, okay, I can't tell you how many people look at this tree and got super pissed, right? I don't think it's that big of a deal, but still, the point is that this is the first big new Pokemon game on an HD console. Like, Pokemon fans were super excited for this, and this is the end product, and we're also not even getting all the Pokemon, so you're not really appealing to the long-standing Pokemon fans or the people who are trying to get into Pokemon by making it look pretty and an appealing game to play. These are like the first hints that Pokemon, you know, they were used to working on lower end hardware, right? They're used to working on like the DS or the Game Boy, right? Where they could get away with using, you know, more simplistic design measures. You know, they're basically, what I'm trying to say is they're not used to doing all this 3D stuff in their mainline Pokemon games. But they have the exact same deadlines that they had in the previous eras of Pokemon. So graphical issues like this, they're going to show up, right? Even just looking at this from the standpoint of all the other Switch games that were coming out at the same time, like Mario Odyssey and Breath of the Wild, looking at this game, it's very embarrassing, right? All these Pokemon are just popping in. The other trainers are just popping in randomly. Like, what the hell is going on? Oh, that Curlia just literally popped up. Oh, wait, it wasn't even a Curlia, it was a Serena. I couldn't even tell until the battle started. I literally couldn't even tell because of the pop-in, right? And, you know, Sword and Shield's performance and pop-in issues were really bad at the time, but it's funny because now we can look past that because now it's just gotten so much worse. Oh God, seeing this just gives me so many bad memories, bro. Oh my God. Yes, the BDSP reveal trailer, you know, it hits on a nostalgia here, right? It gets the fans all excited, and then, you know, we're seeing all these like flashbacks to the original DS game. We're all excited, and then we see, oh shoot, experience the brilliance once more in this new experience. Hello? Now, take what you will about this style, right? It's not for everybody. It wasn't for me, but whatever. I think most artists even can say that it did not look very polished, right? And our end product here did not look much different from this, right? When you compare it to something like the Oras remakes, Oras, say what you will about its content and how it portrays the original games, it did look beautiful, right? It was flat out, like everything was redone. The trainer redesigns were really good. Everything just worked really well. And now that we have this Switch remake and it, ironically enough, looks worse than a 3DS remake of an older generation, it's a shame, right? That being said, it's not like this game looks completely egregious. It's more of a person-to-person. It's more of a matter of opinion on if you like the style or not. But the game was extremely buggy and it was able to be broken in half. But then right after the BDSP remake, we all get a little glimpse into something that's a little bit better. Wait a minute. What is all this? This is all Sinnoh stuff. Wait, is that Mount Coronet? Hold on. Hold up! What's going on here? Hello? Now, conceptually, this trailer was amazing, right? This left me and many other Pokemon fans really excited, right? We're assuming, hey, this is just a really early look. We're assuming that it's going to look better once it releases, but we really like this idea of like an action-adventure Pokemon game, right? This is something that we've been dreaming of for years and years and years. You're literally chucking balls at Pokemon in the wild here, like in the wild inhabitants, but then we see this. Like, ooh. Listen, it's early. We were all coping, right? We were all coping when we saw this trailer for the first time. We were like, yo, that Shingling is running at a solid 2 FPS. No. And what's crazy to me is that they showed this in the reveal trailer. Like, somebody had to know that this looked terrible, right? Come on, dude. Like, come on. Even if it was like that, and it still is like that, they didn't have to show this in the trailer. Why'd they have to do the trailer like that? But yes, it looks quick, it looks dynamic, it looks interesting, right? That being said, the textures look a little ugly, kind of like the tree in Sword and Shield, right? It's all kind of like reminiscing of that a little bit. That being said, still exciting stuff, right? This is a new concept for Pokemon. We are assuming that it will look better at the release. But then we see that it's releasing in 2022, in February 26th, 2021. But then you realize something. BDSP is releasing November 19th, 2021. Only 3 months before Legends Arceus. We all knew that this was a massive issue. This game needed a lot more time in the oven to cook. We were all assuming that this is just a really early look into the game. Hey, this is like Tears of the Kingdom, right? We're getting a really early look. The game's in development. We're showing it to you right now. But, you know, we have a lot of time to put into this, right? We're going to be working on this for like the next 4 years or something, right? Not quite. This is not the same scenario as Tears of the Kingdom at all. They showed it, and this is exactly what the game ended up looking like on release. And it's a shame because myself included, I loved this game. I thought Legends Arceus was a breath of fresh air, despite the flaws. There were bugs, but more importantly, it just looks ugly. It's unfortunate. None of the areas are very memorable. I remember having a ton of fun catching all the Pokemon and filling out the Pokedex, but again, the areas just look so ugly and bland that I have a hard time remembering the specific areas. This game really could have been like a 9 or 10 out of 10 game if it had more time in the oven, but it didn't have that time in the oven. I think Legends Arceus is actually a perfect example of a game with so much lost potential. I'd still say it's a great game for a Pokemon fan, but if I gave this game to somebody who's not a Pokemon fan and said, hey, this is a great Pokemon game, you should try it out, they'd be like, no, this game is ugly, why would I ever play this? At this point, we just have way too much Pokemon on the Switch. We already got Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, Pokemon Sword and Shield, Pokemon BDSP, and only 3 months later, Pokemon Legends Arceus. We're all Pokemon'd out at this point. And then we see this. And we don't know what this is. We, honestly, myself included, I was not expecting this to be a new generation of Pokemon. So when we're seeing this trailer, we're thinking, oh, hey, maybe it's another like Detective Pikachu movie or something like that, right? Something interesting like that, maybe a side game. We don't know. And then we see this. And when we start seeing this, we get a little bit scared. We're getting flashbacks to Legends Arceus. At least I definitely was. Again, I love Legends Arceus, but it was with a grain of salt, right? I knew that the game could be so much better with more time put into the oven. I wanted it to be even like a Game of the Year contender, right? Pokemon's literally the biggest media franchise of all time. There's no reason that they shouldn't be able to output these Game of the Year quality titles. They want to get these games out as soon as possible, so they give us another trailer that looks just like the Legends Arceus trailer. And somehow even worse. The frames on the windmills look terrible, the Pokemon frames look terrible. But again, we hope, right? We hope, hey, these are early looks. The textures might look a little ugly, right? Looks like an old PS2 game. Everybody made those jokes, right? I did too. Hey, you know, they got some interesting textures. I like how the Magnemite's like all shiny here, right? Hold on, we got something going on. And you know what? After the high of Legends Arceus, we were excited, right? We were excited. Hey, you know what? Arceus came out 2022. Maybe that was to hold us over so that we could wait another 2-3 years for the next Pokemon game. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, all right. You don't even need to show me the release trailer. I can assume that it's, you know, going to be coming out in another like 2-3 years. So, you know, you don't really gotta show me anything. I'm satisfied with that. We can see that it's, why is it late 2022? Legends Arceus literally just came out. Literally a month prior to this announcement trailer, Legends Arceus had just came out, and we had all been like finishing it up. And now in less than a year, we have a brand new Pokemon generation? Why? It's actually really funny because this is where we start to see the Pokemon fandom really understand that, hey, these games are really just getting pumped out. Like, Game Freak is just crapping these titles out to make more and more money. It does feel very, like, kind of gross, I'm not gonna lie. They know that as Pokemon fans, we're gonna keep buying these games, no matter how bad quality they are. And after seeing the Legends Arceus trailer and having a similar release window of, hey, this is coming out very shortly, right? They're not gonna have much time to fix up the ugly looking gameplay or anything. Yikes, right? It's going to look like this. We now know, because of Legends Arceus, it will look like this in the end. It will have those frame drops. It's gonna have those issues. And on top of all that, this is the first ever Pokemon open world game. I was excited, I'm not gonna lie, because of Legends Arceus. I was on a high with Legends Arceus. I loved that game, despite its flaws. But again, it's quite staggering to see how similar these trailers looked in terms of how the games look. That's because they're being worked on at the exact same time. So the game came out and it was a complete buggy mess. We all know how Scarlet and Violet came out. I cannot tell you how funny it is that as Pokemon fans, we were all extremely disappointed that this is the third best-selling Pokemon games of all time. Like, let's sink in for a second. This is the third best-selling Pokemon game of all time. And it's mostly just because it's on the Switch, it's the first open-world Pokemon game, You know, all that stuff is really exciting for fans to hear, so they buy it, right? And the Switch is a super popular console, so that helped a lot too. Yeah, and it got really bad reviews for a Pokemon game, right? 75. Honestly, it should have been a lot lower. I'm not gonna lie. As Pokemon fans, we can appreciate quite a few things about this game. This had the groundwork to be a fantastic game, but they needed 3 years or more to put into this game when they probably only had like 1 year to work on this game. Let's be real. When I played this game myself on livestream, I had 3 entire game crashes within my playthrough and lost a full hour of gameplay all in all. And that's with the autosave on. It's a shame because as a Pokemon fan, I could say, yeah, I had a good time with my first experience, but when I think about going back and playing this game, I would never want to go back and play this game. Scarlet and Violet is a perfect example of why games should be delayed. In a perfect world, they would have released the 2022 release date and they would have been like, you know what? Hey, we just released Legends Arceus. We're going to delay this to 2024, 2025. And guess what? It could have released nowadays and we could have potentially gotten a Game of the Year deserving Pokemon game. Imagine that, right? Scarlet and Violet releases right now. Let's say it releases, in fact, let's just say that it releases today, right? If it had those 3 full years of development time, just imagine how much better this game could have been. Again, it has the building blocks there, just like Legends Arceus did, but even bigger. It's an open world Pokemon game. This is a huge game with interesting characters and interesting ideas in the story, but it's floundered, and it's almost entirely because of lack of time. They have the money, they have the resources, they just don't have the time because they need to crap these games out so they can make more merchandise. They only care about selling these new Pokemon plushies. They just got to get these Pokemon out there. So then let's fast forward for a second. I gotta give Pokemon credit on something. Because I just think, maybe I'm giving them too much credit, but I think they learned something from this. I legitimately think Game Freak knows that they messed up. Legends Z-A official announcement trailer announced on February 27th, 2024. It's funny because this is a whole ass year ago and it doesn't even feel like that. I legitimately feel like I reacted to this on stream like not even that long ago. But you know why? It's because we don't need a Pokemon game every single year. All this stuff looks really, really exciting, right? We're like, oh shoot, what could this be? What could this be? You know, people like me were all extremely excited for a Legends game. Could it be that? Could it actually be another Legends game? We see Lumiose Tower. Wait, is this X and Y? Is this finally the Pokemon Z that we've been looking for? And yes, it is. Insane. The Pokemon fandom popped off. I popped off. I was like, what the hell? We were all expecting Black and White remakes, maybe Johto Let's Go games. No, we got Pokemon Z, but it's actually Legends Z-A. Either way. And it's funny because this was not what I popped off most for. I was excited. I was definitely excited for all this stuff that they're showing here, right? I'm excited. Let's see it. And you know what else I'm excited about? Is that they never showed actual gameplay. I'm so glad they did not show actual gameplay. They've learned from their mistakes with Legends Arceus and Scarlet and Violet. Don't even show the game. Just don't. Announce that it's coming out, build up hype for it, right, in the community by doing this. Just show us a little something. Tell us that the game is being worked on. And that's what they did. They did not show a single piece of gameplay, just a little, you know, a little bit of CG here. It's all about X and Y. That's all we need to know, right? It's about Lumiose City, Urban Development Plan, whatever. Get the title drop. Exciting. Legends Z-A. As a Pokemon fan, I'm expecting the worst, right? At this point, I've been tattered down by Scarlet and Violet and Legends Arceus. I'm fully expecting this game to come out at the end of the year, right? I've accepted it. Show me the release date. I'm not even going to be excited for it yet. But then this. I cannot tell you how much I popped off about a later release date. Keep in mind that this is early 2024, right? And last time we had a Pokemon announcement, it was early 2022. We get the Scarlet and Violet release date for late 2022. That is less than a year from Legends Arceus' release. But now we are in February 27th, 2024, almost a full year ago now. It's saying 2025. And you know what's the best part about all this? We still have yet to see a single other thing about this game. And I cannot tell you how much people popped off about a 2025 release date and not 2024. This was a gaming occasion for me, bro. I don't think I've ever in my entire life as a gamer seen a community collectively say, thank God it's not coming out sooner. Thank God. Because we all knew from Scarlet and Violet and Legends Arceus that these games need more time. And it has some more time. And it's funny too, because I actually think this could work. I really do. I think Game Freak might have learned. Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong whenever the game releases and it's a complete pile of dog water and performs even worse than Scarlet and Violet somehow. I don't even think that's possible, but whatever. But I was just so proud of the community as a whole to be like, thank God it's not coming out sooner. Pokemon fans have learned that, please, we don't want this game to come out early. We're Pokemon out. We went from BDSP to Legends Arceus, instantly to Scarlet and Violet, all within the span of 1 year. All right? We don't need another Pokemon game. Please. Let this one cook. Let this one be good. And yeah, fan favorite, like Mega Evolution's back. Very, very cool. Whatever. I don't care about that. I popped off at the release date more than Mega Evolution. I really did. The release date was the best part about this trailer, bro. I swear. 2025. I was so ready for it to be 2024. So ready. And guess what? Because we have yet to see a single thing about this game, who knows? Maybe this could be delayed. And you know what's great? That'd be amazing! I would love it if it's delayed. Please be delayed. Be delayed till 2027 for all I care. I don't give a damn. I could wait till 2030. Just give me the greatest Pokemon game that you can make. That's what I want. I don't want this game to come out 2025. But it's better than 2024. That's what we were expecting. We still have yet to see any gameplay, anything about this game since this trailer a full year ago. It's giving some Tears of the Kingdom vibes, right? Tears of the Kingdom took a full 2 years for us to give a new trailer. And now it's almost a full year and we have yet to receive a single extra trailer. We still have yet to see the gameplay. We don't even know how the game works. We have no idea. And that's a good thing. This is why I think Pokemon's a great case study about games in general. Games need time, right? Especially nowadays. Games from like 10, 20 years ago, they could just come out year by year because they were so much easier to make. You know, these big 3D games, they need a lot more time in the oven for them to be super high quality. And you know what? As a gaming community, I hope that this idea that games should be delayed to be even better, I really hope that this becomes a normal thing for not just Pokemon, but for all games. I am just so ecstatic that the Pokemon community as a whole popped off that it was not an earlier release. Because we all knew the horrors that we had gone through. Long story short, game delays are a good thing. Let's give game companies all the time that they need to create amazing games for us to play and experience. Quality over quantity. Just wanted to get that off my chest. I know there's a different kind of video than I usually make, but let me know in the comments if you'd like to see more just rambly videos like this. I love talking about games in general. Let me know in the comments if there's anything else in gaming history that you want me to talk about, and I'll go over it, sure. Leave a like, subscribe, and yeah, see you next time. Later, manners.